sponsored by Jim Beam, the official bourbon in the Minnesota Wild. They're here all season long. Listen every Wednesday through March for your chance to win tickets.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program. I'm Common East Enemy. The legendary Mark Rosen of Channel 4 Sports. Sports your whole life. Just sports fame joins us now. Good to see you. I haven't seen you since, well, last year.
Good stuff. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I mean, I've had a cold the last 2.5 days, which hit me out of nowhere. I mean, it's just been passing along from one to another, so I might be hitting the cough button a few times today. But had a really good holiday. Yeah, my son came in from L.A. My niece was in from L.A. We went down to Westbrook to see Karen's parents. Drove back. We were at our friends, my sister-in-law, the Blackshaws for Christmas Day, and then took my son out for his birthday on Saturday night, and then he went to the Vikings game with the Packers on Sunday. So,
and that game was.
Oh yeah. It was delicious. It was really a great atmosphere, and that's why you kind of want to make sure you have another one. But so that was it was good. It was just enough, driving around and the madness associated with all of us with the holidays, and then coming back home, and now just kind of gearing up for Sunday.
Sunday, it's the Motor City Kitties entertaining the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings at the Litter Box in Pontiac. Do you think the horn has been reborn or the roar has been restored? Well,
look, if you're in the prediction business, go right ahead. I think the Vikings' advantage is pretty clear after even watching the Lions against the 49ers the other night. Their defense.
What defense?
Yeah, they're not just the personnel, but their lack of tackling, was striking to me.
That's their personnel.
They were armed, trying to arm tackle guys, and so I think the Vikings will certainly, I think, roll up a lot of points. Well, so will Detroit, but I'm of the belief, and that's all it is that between Blake Cashman and
who did not play in the first Lions?
No, he did not. Grenard, one of those guys, Van Ginkel. Yeah, Ginky will make that play. It's going to come down to which team is going to blink and have that crucial turnover, which probably will cost them the game. I think that's really what it's going to be, because I think the Lions aren't going to be slowed down that much. I mean, what the offensive capabilities are of that football team, even with some of even missing Montgomery, but they're going to light it up, especially in the home crowd. So yeah, it should be. You can't ask. The networks can't ask for a better game.
No.
And I think Lieber brought up a really good point. Just listening to his discussion with you about the loser. It's not like, oh boy, season's over, but you do have to mentally kind of recharge yourself and get ready for a game. Hopefully Sunday as opposed to Saturday, and you have to do it on the road. And then that sets everything else in motion where you got to win that game. Then the Vikings could potentially even lose Sunday night to Detroit and have 2 home games in the playoffs by winning at Tampa Bay, and then you'll have a better record than the other team you're probably playing. But, you want to go down that scenario? No. You want to win the game, and you're in a position that no one thought would be possible.
Well, I did at the beginning of the season say it'd be the Vikings and the Falcons in the NFC Championship game, and you're on your own after that. Did I not say that?
You say that every year.
You said that.
I said it.
No, would you say that every year?
That's what I think every year is about to happen.
No,
and it could still be the Falcons and the Vikings in the NFC Championship game. It's always possible.
Is it?
If the Falcons make the playoffs. Well, now, let me ask you a question. I think both the Vikings and Lions, while you would love to win, number 1 seed, the road to the big game goes through the bank or through the litter box, and you get that first round bye. But both teams are well equipped to win on the road. The Vikings are 7-1 on the road. The Lions are 8-0 on the road. Yeah. You have teams that they don't mind. I've seen quotes from both teams. I think you hear this from a lot of players. I think to a man, players will say, I don't mind playing on the road. It's kind of fun. No. You got the crowd. It's us against the world. The crowds. Nothing better than shutting down the quieting an opposition.
I think it's not so much playing on the road. I agree with you. I think either the Vikings or the Lions are very capable of winning that game, but the advantage is clearly that you got to buy. You literally get 1 week off to heal up, get ready, and you're going to be at home, and then you got to win that game, whoever you're playing, and then you're playing for the Super Bowl. That's it happened in '98. The Vikings, beat the snot out of, Arizona, and they lost to Atlanta. 2009, they had to go on the road after winning here easily at the first home game, but then they had to go on the road because New Orleans had the advantage over them, which was because the Vikings lost a couple late season games. But I think it's more of the preparation time and making sure guys are not they're getting banged up and this and that. That extra week does help, I think, a lot. I mean, Kansas City has. I mean, they're not playing anybody. I'm looking at spread swing, and the Chiefs are 10.5-point underdogs this week against Denver. Well, now they're not playing anybody.
That's correct.
And they're going to have basically 3 weeks off to get ready for their first game. Now, we always do that, rest or rust. I mean, is it going to
doesn't matter to that team?
I don't think so.
That's
either.
why, and I'll do a
blow your own horn.
When every week when I would discuss the power rankings with Tennessee, I'd say, why is Kansas City not considered the best team in pro football? Well, you know what? They've been struggling to win some of these games.
Cares?
I was like, well, and so they were as low as 9th at one point. I'm like, are you not? And they've all said it. Mahomes has said it a couple of times. He says, we kind of they know they're going to make the playoffs.
Of course
they know they're going to. They know they can play at half throttle against most of these teams. If you've noticed, the last few weeks they've ratcheted up, and now they are playing football at a high level. I mean, they just destroyed the Steelers, a pretty good football team. They're playing so well right now. I'll put it this way: I don't care who represents the NFC, even if it's the Vikings. I'd be putting my money on on Kansas City.
You're hard pressed that you can pick. You look at Baltimore and Buffalo in particular; those two teams to say which of these teams in particular is capable of going into Kansas City and winning an AFC Championship game on their turf.
They both could.
They could. I mean, I think my personal preference is I think Baltimore is better equipped. Even though their defense is not as formidable as it was, but I think that both those teams have their strengths. But that would be, I think, the ideal scenario for the AFC. But yes, we find. Let's not forget about the Packers. I mean, they're also
that's true.
They're hanging around, and the Rams are hanging around.
Washington's not so bad either.
No,
it's
gonna be fun.
Detroit runs the ball more than any team in pro football. They average 28 carries a game, and they're very efficient and proficient at it. Nobody stops the run better except one team, and I don't know which one is number one against the rush, but the Vikings are number 2 against the rush. So I think, in talking with Lieber, you think the strategy for Detroit would be, well, our defense is ravaged. We don't want them. They're decimated. We don't want them on the field very often. So what we'd like to do is do a ball control, run the ball, and throw short passes, which I think they might try. But you could be in for a lot of 3-and-outs. If that Vikings, especially with Cashman in the lineup now and Pace back, if the Vikings play against the run as well as they have all year, I think Detroit will have without BMO. BMO's out, so they're a one running back and
Demo.
And Gibbs is one of the best running backs in the league. The guy can do it all. He can even get tough yards, even though he's better when he's out in the open field. He catch the ball out of the backfield. But when you just got one guy running over and over and over again against a defense, I think that could be bad for Detroit. But I think they do have to limit, like Lieber was talking about, you have to limit the Viking possessions.
Well, the other thing, Beeflo, I'm sure we'll talk about as well, is that you have to prepare for a team that no matter where they are in the field, unless you're 4th and 15 or something, on your own 18-yard line, Danny Campbell's going to go for it. I mean, I think you talked about the punter must be the loneliest guy in the world in Detroit. How often? I mean, Dan Campbell just goes for it. So you're really playing a 4-down offensive team almost every single series. That's the way they approach it. So big challenge for Beeflo's team to get off the field and make sure those guys are sitting down and get that defense out there.
We'll break. We'll come back. We'll talk some more football and a couple of other topics. Deuce is in the house. He will be here for Spread Swing. That's coming up at 2:30 right here on The Fan. Thursday here on the Common Man program. I'm Common. He's Tennessee. Mark Rosen. And then
it's difficult.
And there's Deuce, who he's double Deuce now. He turned 22 on January 1st. 22 years old.
Unbelievable.
Senior in college, I feel mighty old at the age of 22. Even though I've got so much life ahead of me, but by college standards, I'm a geezer.
Yeah, yeah, indeed you are. You'll be graduating in May. By the way, Tennessee, do you want to host Tee to Green on May? When is your Saturday graduation?
Probably May 2nd or 3rd. So
let's say it's May 8th. Will you want to host Tee to Green? There's a lot of perks that come with it. You're the ambassador for a day. You get to play golf that day. Get to hang out with Paul Peterson and Craig Warrion. Pretty good gig.
I will be playing golf that day.
Oh, you are?
I'll be playing golf at Bandon Dunes, Oregon.
Oh, you're doing your band.
Oh.
I'd love to do the bit of, oh, no, I'm busy, I can't, but I actually am busy.
You could do Tee to Green from Bandon Dunes.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Not going to work.
So you'll graduate.
Correct.
And then you'll come home, and my guess is on that Monday after graduation, you'll start
right to work,
putting out some feelers and putting some applications out there, don't you think, son?
And you see, I've thought about that. I've thought about, right after college, getting the job search started and, earning some paychecks. But I really think that what's best for me is, after graduation, I spend 1, 2, 4, 5, 7 years just kind of sitting in, your basement, our basement, rent free. Or, I'll even work a job at, maybe the Tamarack Tap.
Sure.
Little part-time job.
Yeah, to throw you some money, make a little part-time job while I really just find my footing before jumping into the professional world.
You want to see what the economy looks like.
Yeah,
you want to save some money and buy a condo or a house eventually or whatever it might be.
I got my whole life to be employed.
Yeah,
I got so many years ahead of me. I got so much time to get a job and make dough.
Well, here's an idea.
All right.
Love the new Grum. By the way, this is the new and improved program.
I've heard that.
For 2025. Yeah. Any chance dudes can take that business degree and start a spread swing app? Would love to know when to do the opposite when I hit the Vegas sports book. Maybe that's what you could do.
I do remember one of the greatest cheap shots you ever read to me was I should start a gambling hotline, 1-800-LOSE-NOW. And I think that would be a lucrative business model.
Well, here's one that says, if Deuce picks the Vikings in spread swing, I'm going to run through a brick wall, not from excitement, but from anger. Because almost every time you pick a game, the opposite happens.
Well, now, last week, we'll get into the results of spread swing at the next segment, but last week I used a random wheel spinning generator to make my predictions.
The last week.
And I had a great week, and I think we're going to do it again. So whatever the wheel says, I'm doing. It's as simple as that.
That's a goofy week.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't care.
That.
Rosie, your Wolves team, I can't get a handle on them. They'll play a game or two where this defense is just like it was back in the old days. They had that stretch where I think 5 out of 6 games, and I think they won 5 out of 6. They held the opposition to under 100 points. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they give up a bunch of points. It doesn't go well. Their last game, no shame to lose to the Thunder.
No.
That's the best team in basketball right now, record-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Chris Finch on a little bit with PA this morning. He opened up the show. I was driving around. And they got the Celtics tonight, arguably, the defending champions and, maybe still the best team in basketball. And it's at home. Finch did not sound too discouraged. I think you were seeing he's shaking up his lineup a little bit more. I mean, Minot's getting more playing time. DiVincenzo's getting more playing time. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well the other night. That hurt them, but he's definitely getting more active, more acclimated. And so he's mixing and matching his lineups a little bit more, which I think a lot of folks were hoping that he was going to do earlier in the year. But, I mean, he made the point. I mean, we know it's all about jockeying for position. And in the NBA West, which is, very competitive, you want to just kind of hang around. If you finish 4th, you finish 5th, whatever it might be. I mean, obviously you want to go up the scale, but I think it's just out of necessity, just trying to just figure it out. It's just not going to be clicking defensively in particular the way it was last year. I mean, I think they still miss obviously Karl Anthony Towns is having a terrific year with the Knicks, and it hasn't been the Wolves have not gotten the same return back with Randall and DiVincenzo in particular. But they made the trade for other financial reasons down the road, and it's a little early to say how that's all going to pan out, but I still think they're going to be a playoff team, and I think they'll still be a top 6 team. We'll see how it works out.
I think I was in Master Control when they were replaying the Finch interview, and I heard one of the questions, and I think what Finch said, something like, it's kind of ugly, but maybe that's the way we'll be all year.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the way our basketball is going to be, because not every team can play like a well-oiled machine. And, when basketball is played at a high level by both teams, it's like a symphony. right? I've heard someone say that one time. So, but when sometimes it's the old
sour note.
Yeah, they call it they. Be careful, read my lips. They muck it up.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, they
and sometimes games get ugly, and it doesn't have any aesthetic. Anything pleasing aesthetically, but that doesn't matter as long as you win. We talk about it in football all the time. Team that likes to run the ball on you. You'll see a 6-3 game, and people will say that must have been the worst game in football. But if it was great defense, a guy like me goes, that game was fun to watch. Man, it was hard for anybody to move the ball because it wasn't because of bad offense. It was because the defenses were so good.
And again, Finch talked about, and we it's almost a tiresome conversation about the team that ends up knocking down the most 3-pointers normally wins the game. I mean, and there's such a proliferation of 3-point shots. That's kind of the game. I mean, obviously Towns is as good as any big man in basketball and does it for the Knicks now after doing it for Minnesota for so long. But you got to have guys to make those shots. And if you're not knocking them down, you're probably not going to win the game if you look at the final stats. And it's kind of a crazy stat when you think about it, but that's just the way it normally works out. And the Wolves have been inconsistent with that.
Had you ever heard of a slew foot until I had never heard of slew foot before.
I think I have heard
I've
the
had
term.
slew foot, but I thought it was more like gangrene.
Yeah, I was watching the replays of Spurgeon getting, I guess slew foot is the term. I'm sure Tennant can explain that well. I mean, obviously took his leg out from under him in a skate. Very devastating type, but I don't think they have a full injury report, do they yet on Spurgeon? But it certainly doesn't look good.
Lower body and Tennessee's thinking it. By the way, just by the looks of it, and I tend to agree. It could be a long time.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Who knows? Maybe bounces back tomorrow, but it doesn't look good.
No, and it's just egregious. And I know the guy's was suspended a bunch of times in the minor leagues, and he's going to have his hearing, and he'll probably get suspended for 5 games. La-di-da. Big deal, but it's just the punishment doesn't fit the crime. That is for sure. And for a guy, hard luck as Jared Spurgeon's been, the kind of inspirational leader on that hockey team for so long, and battling through so many things, to have that happen to him on his home ice in particular, uncalled for, unnecessary, and just a cheap shot. And that's all you can say about it.
Tomorrow night, the Duke Mayo Bowl. It's the 7-5 Gophers against 6-6. Is it Tech, Virginia Commonwealth? Who are they playing?
Virginia Tech. Michael Vick's team, old team.
Your thoughts on this?
I think the Gophers will win by double digits.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think they're going to. I think they're putting a lot more emphasis on this game than Virginia Tech is.
Why do you think that?
Based on the number of bodies that Virginia Tech is not playing in the game. Plus, PJ does go after it, and I think Max Brosmer, he knows this is one shot, one shining moment.
This is his final game.
Yeah, and I think
he'll never play football. I don't think he's going to get in the draft, right? So
I don't. Unless he goes in the USFL or whatever.
But if he doesn't, this is the last football game he'll play.
I think PJ's had pretty good success in these bowl games, and I think I think they want to put on a pretty good showing. I don't think there's many guys who've opted out from the Gophers standpoint. So I think the Gophers are like 8-point favorites or something like that. So again, it's. They get the game because of obviously the tragedy in New Orleans. They have the game this afternoon with Georgia and Notre Dame starting at 3:00. And I watched some of that Texas game yesterday. That was crazy. Yeah, and boy, what's that? No, Texas and
Arizona State.
Arizona State. Yeah, that was fun.
Great game.
ASU almost pulled it out at the end.
They did. The kid completed a fourth. I mean, they were one play away, fourth down pass. But Ohio State looked like a machine last night. Just rolled over Oregon, so they might be.
They're obviously the team to beat.
Yeah, I think they were.
Question. Texas is good, and Penn State's played well, but
Ohio State was losing to Michigan,
and Georgia's good. I mean, it's hard, but Ohio State.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ohio State looked like old Ohio State. They had everything rolling for them last night. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think this is where you're supposed to get into really good games right now. And we had one really good one yesterday.
Yeah. Gopher men's team, basketball, they haven't beat, I think I saw on the story today, Fish Wrap West, I think it was. They've not beaten a ranked team in quite some time.
I know, it's been a while.
Tonight could be the night. Is it 20? Is it Purdue? Are they ranked 20th?
Yeah, I think so. They play Purdue at home, too.
I think Purdue at home, 20.
Yeah, I got a busy
be nice to win a game
sports
here,
slate. Yeah, Wills at home against Boston, Wild at Washington, and the Gopher men's basketball team here against Purdue.
And because I can't decide, I'm going to watch Rockford Files.
Of course you are.
Yeah, that's what I do. When we come back, it'll be time for Spread Swing right here on the Fan. On a Thursday afternoon means it's time for Spread Swing.
Spread Swing.
Best of times, worst of times. For some people, it's their favorite segment of the week. Others turn the radio off because they don't want their mind to be polluted with terrible picks. Though Mark Rosen's done very well for himself, so was 10 to be. I've not been half bad. And then there's there's Deuce.
Well, there's that.
Oh, it's funny.
It's been a rocky season.
It has been, to say the least. 10 to be. Where are we at in Spread Swing?
Deuce, it was a rocky season.
Ooh.
Because let's just say the best performer of the four of us last week would be one Deuce Cole.
There we go.
Yeah,
you doubted me.
I should say 2 weeks ago because we did not play Spread Swing last week. So we're now going back 2 weeks on these scores. But going into it 2 weeks ago, Deuce, you were in last with minus 54. I was in first with 160. Rosen in second with 138. Common right behind at 129. Deuce, you made some improvements, though. You had Cincinnati minus 7.5 against Cleveland. They won that game 24-6, so you gained 10.5 points there.
There we go.
You also had Carolina plus 5 against Zona. They won by 6. You gained 11 there. So
how did you do it? What strategy did you change?
Spinthewheelapp.com /editor. So it's this random wheel generator that's led me to my best predictions of the season, pretty much thus far.
So, Deuce, you move up to minus 32.5. Common, you had a positive week. You had Detroit minus 6.5 against Chi-Town. They beat the Bears 34-17, so you gained 10.5 points there. You did have a minor loss in your other one, though. You had Denver plus 2.5 against the Chargers.
What a mistake.
LA won that one by 7. So you lost 4.5, but on the week, you gained 6 points. Rosie, you were in second place. Mm-hmm. You had Minnesota minus 3 against Seattle, and they won by 3. So you got 0 points there. They won 27-24. You got a win in your other one, though. You had the Rams minus 3 against the New York Jets. They won by 10, 19-9. So you gained 7. So you moved up 7 points, which is good for you because I was finally on top, and I had a very bad week.
Oh.
No. Yes. Go ahead and cue the laughing now. I had Philadelphia minus 3.5 against Washington. Commanders won that one by 3, so I lost 6.5 there. And for some reason, I took the other side of that Chicago-Detroit game.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
It was actually looking worse at one point. I lost 10.5 on that one. So I lost 17 points in the week. So we now have a new leader. But this is a bunched-up leaderboard.
I love it.
This is like Masters Sunday. You've got, McElroy and Tiger and whoever else.
Scheffler.
Yeah, all in the mix. So, Rosen, you're in the lead at 145.
Wow.
But I'm 2 points back at 143. Ooh. Common's just 10 points back at you at 135.
Ooh.
So anyone can win in this final week of NFL Spread Swing. Except for Deuce.
Except for Deuce.
Now, are we doing a postseason?
Oh, yeah.
Is that going to count?
That's going to have different rules, though. No, we might do different rules for that. Okay. A new version of Spread Swing.
Yes.
All right.
New and improved.
So I will also add, for this final week, Rosen, Common, Deuce, you guys all have one double down.
Oh, yeah. Where are that?
I have 2 double downs available to me. So the order for today is going to be Deuce, Common, Tenna, Rosen.
All right.
Spread Swing.
There's 3 things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and Deuce going first in Spread Swing. It's like clockwork.
Yes,
just
it
every
is.
time.
Indeed.
And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This wheel kind of it put me in the right direction. And we're gonna go brick by brick. Hopefully, I just want to be in the green, in the net positive on the year. So we'll see what this wheel. We'll see what it says. We're spinning it. Da, 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 da.
You really are spinning it. He actually is doing it.
yes.
He didn't get those picks on us.
The New England Patriots. The Patriots.
That's line of the year. Of course, we're only 3 days into the new year, but that's line of the year.
Good one.
Are the Patriots? What's their spread? They're plus
They're
two.
2-point underdogs.
It's the
Plus
At home.
2 at home against Buffalo. Now,
The resting starters?
Buffalo, they're not going to be playing all out. They're not going to be all gas, no breaks. I could see New England conceivably going out there. Did they win last week? I think they I thought they won.
I think they did.
I thought they picked up a nice win. And is their quarterback locked? I don't even know who it is. But
Drake May.
Drake May. Well, whoever it is, I think he had a nice game. I think I'm confusing them with the Giants. Maybe the Giants had
The Giants won. Yeah,
the
Drew
Giants
Lock.
had, the Giants had
You
that nice
lived
with
your
Drew
whole
Lock.
life in
Yeah.
a state of confusion.
But
But they've got their quarterback, so they're not necessarily going to be tanking. They don't need to
it's true.
tank for the number one spot.
It's true. But I do what the wheel says. I'll take the Patriots plus 2.
Spread swing.
For the 17th time this season, the roar has been restored. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
No.
No, I don't think it was.
No.
Sure, the defense is decimated. Oh, sure, they've given up 7.9 yards over the last 3 games. Oh, sure, they only have one of Sonic and Dumbo.
Knuckles.
No, Knuckles. Knuckles is out.
Knuckles.
They're at Pontiac. They're at the litter box. I got to give up 3, but I'll take the Motor City Kitties.
Very surprising.
I thought everybody would be, yeah. So do me.
Restored.
Stand up, Ford Field. Stand up.
Notice I didn't double down on it.
Spread swing.
Saving it. This is a very challenging week to make picks on NFL spread swing because you don't know who's going to try, who's not going to try. It can lead to some really weird box scores here, I think, in this final week. So I'm going to go with a team that I think is going to try to win. No, I guess technically they're playing a team that might be trying to win. The Washington Commanders are favored by 5 at Dallas. Dan Quinn, the head coach for Washington, has said, all systems go. We're playing everyone. And the reason for that is because they want to hold on to the 6th seed. If they're the 6th seed, they're going to have to face the Rams or Tampa Bay. If they're the 7th seed, they got to travel to Philadelphia. I think they would rather try to get into that 6th seed. And Dallas, we saw how bad their offense was last week without CeeDee Lamb. They were already without Dak Prescott. Their offense at the beginning of the year, they had 2 players, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Now without both of them, they're not going to be able to move the ball. So I'm going to take, even though it's on the road, I'm going to take Washington -5. And we're going to double down. Let's go.
Double down.
Let's go, Jaden.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Spread swing.
Well, here's the leader. What is he going to do?
Legendary one.
You know what I'm going to do.
Minnesota +3.
There's no way in the world we've gone from training camp at TCO, the new Winter Park, to playing this game in Detroit without taking the Vikings in this championship type game on Sunday night. The Vikings are primed, they're ready, they're healthy, and they're going to exact their revenge on the Lions for that earlier season loss, much the way that Ohio State did. Okay. So I'm taking the Vikings, and I'm going to double down on it.
Whoa, he's doubling down on the purple.
Yes.
Well,
I think they're...
How many times have you picked the Vikings this year?
Not that
it's like
many.
a record.
No, I don't think so.
very good.
All right, Vikings +3 with the double down.
Spread swing.
Can I borrow that wheel?
You want to borrow the wheel?
I might need to. I'm not sure what to do, but it's your turn anyway.
We'll spin it. Let's see what it is. We're gripping it and ripping it. And this is going to be...
We should have given the wheel sound effect.
My double down.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Hit wheel a topic.
Let's see.
Hold on.
Wheel a topic.
Deuces picks.
Don't bet on my golf game.
Well, we're going with the Dallas Cowboys. We're going head to head.
Going against me.
This is. I mean, Rosie, you can take a look. It landed on Dallas.
Yeah, it did.
I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys. We're going head to head. Sure, their offense is completely anemic. Sure, they have absolutely nothing to play for. Sure, they're going against a playoff team. That's all systems go. But that's all the more reason for me to take them. I'm throwing caution to the wind and obeying the wheel. And I will also be using my final double down.
Wow.
I think this Dallas team is going to surprise some people.
Yeah.
With how bad they are, potentially. Well, but it's typically the opposite of what I say. It comes true. And normally my brain would tell me to pick Washington, so Dallas has got to be the right thing. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys.
You sniped me. Not really.
Spread swing.
Atlanta and Tampa Bay both still have a chance to win the South, correct?
Yes, they both do. Yes.
Yep.
Tampa's playing a terrible New Orleans team. But that's 13.5 points.
It's a lot of
points.
Giving up a lot of points. Atlanta's playing a terrible Carolina team.
Getting a little bit better.
They're only giving up 7.5 points.
Right.
The rookie QB is playing, right? Cousins is done, right?
Yeah, Penix is playing.
Both are. Yeah, well, no, it's not. Bryce Young's not a rookie, but he's second year. Yeah,
But
Penix is playing.
If Cousins is playing, I wouldn't bet on Atlanta for anything.
He's not playing.
Cousins out, Penix in. I'm going to take Atlanta at home, give up the 7.5 points, and I'm going to double down. Let's go Falcons.
Wow, some interesting action here this final week of the regular season.
Really are.
All right.
Spread swing.
Well, there's actually lots of games on the board I still like. I kind of like Pittsburgh plus 1.5 at home. I actually do like Green Bay minus 10 versus Chicago. But I think I actually like Kansas City plus 10.5 too, even with their backups playing. But we're going to head out west to the Seattle Seahawks at Los Angeles Rams game. The Seahawks are minus 6.5.
Right.
For the Rams, Sean McVay has already stated that Matthew Stafford will not play in this game.
Right.
Now, if Matthew Stafford's not going to play, do you think all of his brittle skill position players are going to play too? You think Puka Nacua is going to play?
No.
You think Cooper Kupp's going to play?
No.
You think Kyron Williams is going to play? No. Game means nothing for the Rams. And when they've had their best players out this year, they're a completely different ball club.
But you're forgetting it's Jimmy G.
It is Jimmy G. It's your guy, Jimmy G. He's probably top 3 on your quarterback rankings.
You are
for all I
correct.
know.
He still is.
So technically, Seattle doesn't have anything to play for, but they are going to be playing all their starters. They're going to be playing for pride, and they're just going to have a better roster on the field than the Los Angeles Rams. So I'm going to go Seattle minus 6.5, and
Tennessee's doubling.
we're going to double down.
Man, saving the best for
Let's
last.
go, Gino.
Yes.
Spread swing.
Well, speaking of LA teams, my little sleeper team, the one I think is as entertaining as any team, they're not going to win the AFC, but they're fun to watch. Jimmy Harbaugh, all he does is win. And they can still get the 5th seed in this game. If Pittsburgh loses to Cincinnati, I think they played the day before, but the Chargers are playing at Vegas against a team that would rather be at the roulette table than playing a football game. So the Chargers are only 4-point favorites. I think they're going to, you don't really know 100%, but I think that Harbaugh knows one way and one way only, and that's to go out there and play their starters for as much possible, long as possible. So I think they're going to win easily in this game. -4 looks too good to be true. So nobody in Vegas cares about that football team. So I'll take the Chargers. -4.
That Chargers line is tricky because
It is.
there is so much risk reward there, right?
It is.
Because it's based off of the
Correct. Pittsburgh.
If Pittsburgh wins,
Right.
that Chargers game is meaningless,
Yeah.
and I don't think I would take them -4.
Right.
If Pittsburgh loses,
Right.
Chargers are playing to win, and they could just destroy Vegas.
That's what I'm rolling
and
with.
they could give you 30.
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
it's a lot of risk reward with that one.
It is. That's fun.
I was thinking of taking Cincy over Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh at home, and Pittsburgh is
18.
they've lost a couple, haven't they?
Oh, Pittsburgh, yes. They've been in a slump.
Yeah. So
Well, they've been playing some good teams, but
They
they have been playing good teams. There's no question about that. And there you go.
There you have
That's
it.
what we call spread swing.
oh, you want me to play it again?
Yeah, just play this song again. Just
Spread swing.
And we're thinking about some new rules for the playoffs.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We changed the game.
Yeah. Do we discuss that?
It's a new and improved Common Man program.
That's exactly
and it might be a new and improved Spread Swing Playoff Edition.
Do we want to explain how it works, or do we wait for another time? Because we think we've come up with a really...
I say we tease it.
Let's tease it.
Let's tease it so they have to tune in next week.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. It's the result for each week will end up being a game of musical chairs.
Oh.
Just say that. Do you know what happens when the music stops and one person doesn't find a chair?
Yeah. Oh. Done.
We're going to leave it at that.
Okay. That's a nice tease.
So Deuce will be out week 1.
Yep. Can you...
The new and improved Deuce predictions on Spread Swing. They're coming.
I had Ben Lieber on. It's a discussion that's been going on for a number of weeks now, especially after about
part of it,
6th, 7th, 8th week of the season. Sam Darnold, 1 year, $10 million. The Vikings drafted J.J. McCarthy as the franchise quarterback, 10th overall. Kid's got a lot of talent. All he does is win. With as well as Darnold's playing, do you franchise him? You probably make $41 million.
Right.
Do you sign him to a 2-3 year deal? Or do you say, Sam, we appreciate your patronage, but guess what? We've got our next quarterback. You're free to go. Or like Lieber was talking about, if you franchise him and then somebody pays the price, the Vikings just decide not to meet it, right? That's how it would work. I'm not sure exactly all the ins and outs of it. What do you think the Vikings will do? What
I don't know how in the world, after the season he's had and the way KOC feels about him and the way he's matured before our eyes, he's likely never to have a record like this. It has nothing to do with him. The Vikings are not likely to have a record like this gaudy record, potentially finishing 15-2, no matter how well Sam Darnold plays in the future. But I don't know how you say goodbye to him. I mean, this isn't Case Keenum, this isn't Sam Bradford, this isn't the guys they've had run through here. He's a 3rd overall pick, and he's playing at the highest level of his career. And J.J. McCarthy can wait another year if need be. I would franchise him. I think that's just my gut instinct that they're going to keep him for a year and give him that $40 million and see where it goes. I just don't see them saying goodbye to him. I don't know how you do that. I know he's got an opportunity to go elsewhere and make a lot more money. But I think he loves the combination of, this offense and the coaching staff, and there's some security with that, and the money's going to be there, however you look at it. And J.J. McCarthy can, I'm saying theoretically wait 1 more year. Because he's going to, I think Ben's talking, he's going to start out cold next year. He hasn't taken a snap in practice, really, other than, training camp. And maybe, a little bit of a preseason game. That's been it. So, Sling and Sammy, I think you got to bring him back for at least 1 year.
Just received a text message, not on the Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line, but my own text. It says, Rosen has picked the Vikings 7 times this year.
Oh, that's not bad.
And he used both of his double downs on the purple.
Yeah, was it the first week or second week? I made a lot of points on one of those weeks.
You're wearing your Viking sweatshirt today?
I am.
Yeah,
all purple.
He doubled down week 1 against the Giants.
Yeah, that's right. I did.
You're all in.
He had 54 points after week 1.
Yeah, that's
worked out well.
It did.
Has been coasting since then.
Yeah.
Correct.
7 times he's picked the Vikings. Make that 8 now, or it was today the 7th? Today was the 7th.
1, 2, 3,
Looking
4. 6th time.
6.
Well, I don't think I took him in the Rams game. I don't think I took him. I don't know if the Kitties game when they lost that one here in the last minute.
From week 7 from week 8 to week 14, he did not ever pick the Vikings.
What?
Yeah, I thought so. It was pretty much early in the year. I don't know. You're right. Nobody knows what's going to happen in this game Sunday night. I just have a feeling that the Vikings are going to really be able to capitalize on this Detroit defense. If they had Aiden Hutchinson, if they had their full complement, I know Anzalone's supposed to be theoretically going to be back.
I thought I saw now he's not going to play.
It's still going to be a rough. Throw him out there and play, 60 minutes or something. It's tough. So I think the Vikings are, as they say, hitting on all cylinders with that offense right now. Don't turn the ball over, and they win. End of story.
Anzalone, turn. Let's see.
I seem to think it's going to be a lot closer than my old man does. He's thinking of 2-touchdown Viking win.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a
that.
mighty close game. I think this could be a one-score less game.
I can't imagine. I mean, just from a national perspective, think about you guys suffering with the Lions all these years. Who would have thought that the Vikings and the Lions would be playing? Vikings are supposed to win 6 games this year.
This game is going to feed families.
It's going to set ratings records on Sunday night for regular season game.
It should, unless Aaron Glenn once again employs the Swiss cheese defense and we get carved up by JJ and the rest of the Vikings defense. Because it could happen. We just don't know.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And again, it's not the end of the world. For once, it's not, both teams are going to be in the postseason. So if your team loses, you got to dust yourself off and just keep going. That's the way it works.
You are correct.
I just hope TJ Hawkinson knows what sideline to go to.
Knows which locker room
he's going to have a helper with that.
Correct.
That Lions squad, man. How weird is it to see the Lions #1 in the playoff picture? Isn't it so bizarre? It's so old-timer?
You're old.
I'm speechless.
Speechless.
That's how crazy it is. Deuce, thanks for coming in. Now you're going to Alexandria?
Yeah, later tonight I'll go to Alexandria.
Will you behave yourself?
Of course I will.
Please.
Always.
All right, good. He's going to Alexandria to see some old friends who live up there. A bunch of the boys are going up.
That'll be fun.
Avi and Lon, and you are going up?
Yeah, picking up Lon at the airport with Avi. We're heading up. 94 West.
Yeah.
Drive carefully. Mark Rosen, good to see you. We'll see you again on Monday, right? Or Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll see you then. Teneby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit with you today. Stick around. Big Ticket, JG, there next, right here on the Fan.
Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Later.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.